Hello there and welcome back to War Thunder. Today's topic is done purely in the hangar and it's about actually the repair costs of vehicles. And I want to point out that repair costs actually don't really serve the purpose of bringing balance to the game, and that there are enough people that have high amounts of civilians that are not interested in balance, and then there is nothing that would stop them from using a plane, tank or ship that is currently very strong, arguably too strong, and then just play it over and over again, ruining the day for anybody else on the enemy team. And also I want to say that if a simple increase in battle rating doesn't solve the problem, there are other aspects. So I want to talk about this. I want that Gaijin drops the repair costs for certain planes, ships and tanks to a reasonable price. The maximum in my opinion should be 15,000 for rank 6, at most 20,000 civilians, because rank 6 is where it gets really expensive, top tier and stuff. So I think there needs to be a bit more freedom. Furthermore, I want to point out the differences between the game modes. And at the end, I want to also bring further solutions to problems. There is no coincidence that the B-29 is shown in the background at the moment. It is a beautiful bomber. It's a big bomber, iconic, and I just love everything about it. The big bomb load, the defensive gunners, the flying capabilities, the high altitude performance. What I don't like about this plane and what repels me from playing it as a bomber enthusiast is the 55,571 civilian repair costs. So 55,000 civilians. That is hefty. Now, what is even more outrageous is not that the plane has this actual repair costs, but what it results in, that you can't avoid it, and that simple solutions to this problem are actually right there. And in my opinion, it doesn't take too much effort at the hands of Gaijin to bring a solution to this problem. Let me explain. So the B-29 has a bomb load that in a maximum 4 bomber squad can easily deal with the bombing points and wipe out the enemy airfield, winning the game within just a few minutes of gameplay without ever there be a fighter battle. And I think that is why bombers are not so much beloved amongst fighter pilots, especially since those bombers get a strategic air spawn, which is very high, around 5,000 meters. And that can actually result in the bombers being not able to be intercepted, even by the most capable planes. There are some exceptions, but you cannot count on them being always there in the right position, with the right performance, with the right aim to kill one of those bombers. And if you miss that one attack, the entire battle is lost, okay? That is my point of criticism. So what potential solutions are there? So first of all, if a bomber takes the short range maximum bomb load, then I think it is taking the, as I said, the short range bomb load. So why it gets then there a strategic high altitude spawn is not longer viable. So it should get a medium bomber spawn in terms of altitude. And if that doesn't work out immediately, then you also can set back the specific spawn of this type of plane further back, so it takes even longer to drop the bombs. This might not be very popular amongst bomber pilots, but I'm not talking here about every single bomber. I'm just talking about bombers that are specifically able in a 4-man squad to destroy the bombing point in a single go. Stock B-29s that do not have the full bomb load, the same goes for all other bombers that are capable of destroying with a full bomb load the airfield, they still should get the strategic air spawn with a spawn where it currently is, and I think then they can do their job, but they're not able to destroy the base. And I think it's a very simple thing to make an algorithm that can work out if somebody has access to the massive bomb load or not, or if the entire team, as it is pre-selected with those aircraft, is actually able to destroy the base. So to actually work around this is the first step. The second one is that you should give the bomber actually the option to bail out of the battle. Let me explain again with the specific example of the B-29. Let's say you have done your bomber job, you have bombed the enemy bombing points and actually damaged a little bit the base. You need a second run because one of your bombers was intercepted, and you go actually through the effort of actually going to low altitude, and you do the perfect landing on the way too short runways, in my opinion, especially for example on Hokkaido, and then you see you're the last member of your team. The enemy team is still there with 3/4 of their players. You cannot possibly win the match. You cannot realistically expect to start from the airfield again and actually climb. Now, the unique thing with the B-29, or not so much unique thing, but a few planes have this capability after landing and repairing and refueling, then they actually get an air spawn, so they never have the option to bail out and save themselves the repair cost. And furthermore, which is more important, that it is actually worth going back to the airfield if you want to end the battle. So a lot of people, after they realize that they have no chance of winning in a bomber, they just go up and do space climbing, and that is outrageous. Then it takes so long to catch the bomber, it takes so long to do anything, and if you don't have attackers or other bombers on your team that can actually kill off the ground targets, that can lead to a battle that actually initially was decided after 10-15 minutes that will take an entire hour. I have seen this in the past, and I'm not really surprised if this would happen to any of you as well. It is an excuse, you know, because of the repair costs. So if we have either at near the airfield an air area where you then have the option to either leave the battle or continue it, you know, when you land and after repair time your airplane actually disappears like usual, and then you get simply asked the question, do you want to continue the battle or do you want to leave it? I think that's a very simple thing to do. And with that we have this problem solved. And so give the bomber a different spawn so the enemy team has a chance to intercept it. So this base one-shotting actually is a different thing. Furthermore, we can introduce a regular enduring confrontation mode. With the recent advertisement campaign of Gaijin, we see a lot more active players, and so the queue times are no longer the problem. And with the recent changes to parts and FPE, old players are coming back, and so I think there is a good population. Furthermore, in the northern hemisphere it goes now into winter, so more people are actually you know, physically sitting in front of their PC and spending some time gaming. So those are good things, and this is where we can try it out. And with enduring confrontation, you make it a bit more attractive for bombers, and so make huge teams, 32 versus 32 with dedicated bomber missions, and that will catch the interest, hopefully, of the bomber population, putting away the stress from air RB. So that would be my approach towards bombers like the B-29. There are other bombers, such as the Japanese R2Y2 Kai V3, and that also has a hefty repair tag of 30,000 silver lines, and that is quite a lot. Now, why is that, and why do people hate this? I'm not talking about the historical development of this paper design, okay? This is a Japanese plane, we need some gap fillers and this. I don't want to talk about this right now. What I want to talk about, what the plane does to air RB. See, it's not a very good bomber. It has just a simple single 800 kilogram bomb, but it has the medium bomber spawn as a jet in the air, facing some of the early jets, and it has 430 millimeters. While the plane itself has not the very best flight performance, you can bet that a lot of people just go in and just go head on with everything. With 430 millimeters, that is kind of a semi-sensible thing to do. It ruins the experience for a normal fighter pilot in a jet that has to start from the airfield. Accelerate, accelerate, accelerate before it goes to the zoom climb, and then while he does this he gets intercepted, he loses so much energy in evasive maneuvers, especially his stock. That is not a nice thing to do. So again, lower the spawn altitude, if you don't let it spawn from the airfield because of the armament and just treat it as a fighter with a bit more bombing capabilities. If you look at the armament, 430mm with 600 rounds, compare this to the Kika with stock just only 1 and 50 rounds, or here also the Kia 200 with just 2 and 120 rounds, but also only 4 minutes of fuel. You kind of see where this is going. This is a ridiculous principle. And again, put maybe the spawn a bit further in the back so it takes a bit longer for those vehicles to go into battle. I'd rather sacrifice the performance of those vehicles than to ruin the game day for anybody else. And that then leads us to tanks, and there we have, for example, the French Lorraine 40T, which is rather expensive in tank RB with 20,000 Silverlines. There are multiple examples throughout all the other nations, and you have to simply ask yourself, why are they so expensive? Well, basically they're doing well. They win a lot of games, they get a lot of kills, and they don't die that often. But how does this come to be? Well, in the shape of the Lorraine 40T, it profits from the armor-piercing post-penetration damage effect, which is really nice. It has an autoloader, it has very good mobility, and gun handling. All those things are really, really nice. I love to play this tank. But the tank maybe has either the wrong battle rating or it fits the meta too well, but in particular the nation that I face the most when I play this tank are the German tanks, and they just have no mobility, and you can easily one-shot them from the side, from the front, from the rear. The armor piercing does the job, the ammunition blows up, you do a lot of damage to crew, and you can disengage and engage at your own terms, at your own will, while the German tanks have nothing that is really mobile. Yes, there's the RE251, but that is a premium tank, and that doesn't really count in my opinion. Then let's talk about the German ships for a moment, and I want to present you 3 examples. I made a video about 1 or 2 of them already, and we begin with the Type 140, 141 with a hefty repair price tag of 30,000 Silverlines. Then we come to the Type 143 with 18,000, and at the end the KMS not even fully upgraded with a repair tag of 35,000 Silverlines. And I do not understand. Yes, I know that it is still a beta of ships, but as a hint, the Type 140, 141 is too good to face 2.7 ships. You just have the range advantage, the rate of fire, the DPM, the alpha strike advantage. You have 4 torpedoes, you're very fast, you're very maneuverable, your guns barely overheat, you don't suffer through the reload, gun handling is excellent. They are just so good. They're probably the perfect PT boat. To let this loose against ships that just have none of those advantages is yeah, so maybe the battle rating of the ship is wrong. Still, even after the BR increase, I usually played from the beginning with my KMS Emden in the lineup. The same goes here for the Type 143. The autocannons are just way too good, and also to let it spawn with the PT boats. So we need again an intermediate spawn for those special vessels. We need to separate them a little bit from the PT boats with more decompression throughout all the tech trees. This is true for some of the American, the German, and the Soviet river patrol boats, and also some of the British ships are way too good against their competition. And the KMS Emden, I don't know if the ship is already that effective, but I criticized it the last time that I played it because it has no point in the game. And then Gaijin's answer, either to my video, which I doubt, or in general because of their statistics, give it the light fleet spawn. Now it can directly harass patrol boats and other destroyers. That is not fun, especially if you're in your stock Type 1924, 1939, or for the Americans, here the Clemson, or for the Russians, the first one, the Frunze. So that is kind of really hard to bako. So I don't think that if I have to face such a vehicle to make it short, I am not really okay with getting killed by an overperforming tank, ship and plane because it has such a high repair cost. I want balance. I want it to be at a different battle rating. I want to have a fair chance against it, and if not, this ruins the day. We have so many vehicles in War Thunder, just a handful are really overperforming, but they ruin the day for everybody else. And I don't think that repair cost will ever bring a solution to this. That is my standpoint, and now it's up to you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? But furthermore, why? And if you agree that this is a problem and that that repair costs are way too high but don't bring any benefit to balance, what would be your attempt to change things, to make them better, to bring more balance to the game, aside from changing the spawn and also increasing the battle rating, which are the two obvious things that I talked about? Let me know in the comment section. That's it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you want to see more. We'll see each other in the skies, on the battlefields, and on the waves of War Thunder.